isn't here to talk about what is enforceable for his staff. He's the missing link here, if he's the law enforcement agency. So we are pleading for your help in this, commissioners. Thank you.
Thank you. Are you speaking?
I know you know I am not Steve Martinucci, nor have I ever been, will I ever be Steve Martinucci. But he had to leave to go to a doctor's appointment, so Shayla graciously allowed me to read what he wrote. So here we go.
Would you give your name?
My name is Kelly Brown. I am a resident of Sarasota. Good afternoon, Mayor, Vice Mayor, Commissioners, and everyone. I want to thank you all for taking the time to meet with me, read my emails, and respond in order to discuss some recommendations concerning the noise ordinance of the City of Sarasota. I first spoke in front of most of you about this topic back in February of 24 after meeting with Mr. Fournier several times. There are two recommendations that I would like to suggest and propose. The first recommendation would be the need to establish residential noise zones outside of the immediate downtown area. It is understandable that there is nightlife activities and businesses that generate loud noise downtown. However, outside of the downtown area and further away you go, the neighborhoods should have stricter noise ordinance to promote quieter and more peaceful surroundings. The second recommendation would be the need to establish city oversight of the Sarasota schools that are within the city limits. Currently, the Sarasota schools are self-regulating entities that are exempt from any noise ordinance. The proposed change would be to remove the Sarasota County School Board and the individual schools from the designation of a governmental agency, as this designation grants them an exception from all noise ordinances. If that is not possible, then an alternative suggestion would be to specifically remove the exemption status of the schools in the current noise ordinance. Either way, there should be city oversight when the noise and amplified volumes created by the schools become excessive and repetitive. The individual schools currently have complete autonomy and free rein to make as much noise and negatively impact the surrounding residents. In the near future, Sarasota High School has plans to build a performing arts center, remove the temporary classrooms, and build tennis courts and expand its presence in the city, all of which will generate even more noise. I have previously provided video examples of the excessively loud amplified music and announcer volume from my front yard, school property lines, and other neighborhood locations. The booming bass sounds and bass frequencies that can be heard inside the residents' homes have been negatively impacting residents for many years. School administration, school security, and SPD have all been contacted many times concerning the excessive volume level and noise. However, nothing can be enforced because the schools are exempt from all city noise ordinance laws. In my last email to all of you, I have offered to provide the signed petition from 100 Sarasota High School surrounding residents requesting that the volume levels of all of the stadiums be decreased and speakers be redirected. The schools need city regulatory oversight so that they don't continue to negatively impact the surrounding residents' quality of life, especially as they continue to expand within the city limits. Thank you all for your time and consideration.
Thank you. Mr. Simon.
Yes. My name is John Simon. I'm a resident of 1350 Main Street. I thank you for your consideration. Walking over here, I was struck by how much construction noise there is on Main Street today, and that's before the Waldorf and the Miramar get started. So as a downtown resident, we're going to have a tremendous amount of construction noise every day during the week for a couple of years, and then get bombarded with noise over the weekends from restaurant, bars, and block parties. The burden of this noise falls largely on full-time residents of Sarasota. It hits the snowbirds too, but it hits the full-time residents. And if the noise gets too bad and drives the full-time residents away, you could end up with a downtown that's totally filled with snowbirds. And then what's your downtown going to look like? I actually had discussions with two friends. I was telling them I'm going to talk about the sound ordinance, and both of them had recently come back from New York City, and they said to me, you know, downtown Sarasota is worse than New York City. That's what they said. I didn't prompt that discussion. That's what they said to me. One of them has a unit in our building that looks out on a courtyard in the back, and his unit was being renovated, so he was in a courtyard. He was in a unit that was faced Main Street, and he said, it's just incredibly noisy. And it is. The sound ordinance is not bad. It adds some good things. The plainly audible standard is a good thing. I think the most important thing from my standpoint is 12 o'clock on the weekends as a time to switch over to nighttime decibel levels is too late. And as David pointed out, the special events ordinance as proposed and has an 11 o'clock ending time. And I think that's a fair time for a 7-day-a-week switch over to nighttime decibel levels. I point out that the ordinance as proposed extends the daytime decibel levels during the week from 10 o'clock to 11 o'clock. So to make it 11 o'clock every day would be a fair trade in my view. Also, this chart that's on the Elmo shows where Sarasota sits in terms of the proposed daytime level. We're clearly near the highest decibel level and much higher than many other cities. And as Bob Fournier pointed out, 65 decibels is a lot quieter than 75 decibels. It's an exponential change. So we would really like to see, or I would like to see, a 65 decibel level during the daytime as opposed to the 75. But if that takes a sound expert, then it takes a sound expert. I want to remind the commission, as I always do, that Sarasota Municipal Code 20-2 provides that all citizens have the right to be free from unreasonable and excessive noise that interferes with the quiet enjoyment of their property. So the ordinance should be considered in that vein. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Harshman.
Thank you, Madam Mayor, Vice Mayor, and Commissioners. For the record, my name is John Harshman, and as I relayed to you a week or two ago, I'm a 52-year resident of the city of Sarasota. I do not live downtown. I own property downtown, and my tenants are all either retail or office users, and they're neither positively nor negatively impacted by the noise ordinance downtown, typically because they're closed. They are firm supporters of the farmers market, Fresh Fridays, and the parades. One of the great benefits of being old is that you have some history that you can fall back on sometimes and give us a little bit of insight as to where we've been and where we are now. In 1998, the city was a completely different place. North of Fruitville Road was a declining area, and it was blighted. The commission at that time, Commissioner Cardamone, Patterson, Pillett, Dupree, and Merrill, all wanted to do something for the area north of Fruitville Road. And they very creatively took what was the failed Mission Harbor site that the county had purchased for the library, and this was bounded by 41, it was 6th Street then, but Boulevard of the Arts and Coconut Avenue, and then the Players Theater on the north. They took that 11 acres and very creatively, and I think Bob Fournier was a part of that, worked with the county to be able to control the future of that site. And they put out an RFP for developers to come in to bring in a project that would help to uplift the Rosemary District. My client was the group that was selected the winner for that project, and the development team presented to the city commission, and the city commission believed this wholeheartedly, that if you brought residents into the area, then that would help to uplift it. And the development that this group presented was fully residential development, and now we have the Renaissance, the Alinari, the townhomes, and Hotel Indigo. And about the same time, this same developer had purchased the former Southeast Bank property, which was where Five Points Tower is now, and then the parking lot. They worked with the developer, the ultimate developer of the Five Points Tower, to have him develop some condominiums, again, bringing more residents downtown. And then with Casto to develop 100 Central, which was, again, more residents downtown. Now, I remind you of this because the activity downtown, we love the retail, we love the restaurants, but it's the residents that provide that foundational lifeblood of downtown. In the 70s, 80s, and 90s, we had lots of clubs downtown. We had St. Francis at Coconut and Palm Avenue. We had Foley's on Lower Main Street. We had Merlin's at the old Plaza Restaurant, which is now the entrance to 5 Point Plaza. We had the Capricorn up on Central Avenue, and we had Playground South on Ringling Boulevard. And these were clubs that were filled with people at night of the weekend, and then they would go home. We even had a grocery store in the middle of downtown Main Street at that point, but we didn't have that one key component, and that was the residents. And it wasn't until the market really changed and people embraced living downtown that our downtown really got the vitality that it has today. And when I listen to the residents that have brought these issues with the downtown events and the downtown noise, I look at the research that they've done, and they've done a very professional job. They've done they do complete work. They compare other communities with Sarasota, so they give you some background data that maybe the planning staff could have provided you, but they were working on other things. And they come up with solutions that's not no noise and not no events. They're coming up with a balance, something that is going to help them to have a better life downtown, and also to help Sarasota continue with its vibrancy. So I would encourage you, as you go forward, to listen to the downtown residents. They're the ones that have invested heavily in downtown, and sometimes we want to look at the restaurants and all the other activities. That's our livelihood. It's really not. From a historical perspective, we had lots of restaurants and clubs downtown. It wasn't until we had the residents that we really became a vital downtown. Thank you.
Thank you. And I will call up 4 more people to speak. Celine.